Hi, my name is Ket Little and I'm an assistant chief here at Thrust Flight, and today we're going to be talking all about your logbook. So when you start your training as a pilot, one thing you're definitely going to need is your logbook. The reason being is you want to keep a record of everything that you're doing for your training. Everything that you do as a pilot when it comes to pursuing a given rating or determining whether or not you are current to take passengers or to fly in instrument conditions, all comes down to what does your logbook prove that you've done. So our logbook is incredibly important for a pilot, especially one who wants to fly commercially one day, because this is what proves that you've done what you've done as a pilot. You have to have that and be able to prove that you've met the necessary requirements to be able to fly with a given rating or to interview for a job, that you've met the minimum requirements that they have for that job. So this is something that you want to guard with your life as a new pilot. If you were to lose this, there's a lot of record keeping that has to be done, and recreating of records that can be a nightmare. There are ways that you can go about it. If you were to take a check ride, before you take a check ride, you always have to fill out the IACRA Form 8710, which is a representation of what your logbook reflected at the time you took your check ride. You can use that Form 8710 as a baseline and start accruing and accumulating all your records from that point forward. You could also potentially use training records from your flight school, depending on what records they have on file, and use all of that to recreate your logbook as closely as possible, erring on the side of caution, making sure that you are on the conservative side of things and that you're not putting in hours that potentially may not have been there. That's one thing that the FAA takes very seriously. So how does the logbook work? Well, after every flight, you'll have to go into your logbook and put in the date of the flight, the aircraft type, the tail number, how many hours that you flew, and what the breakdown of those hours were, whether they were night or day, instrument, and all of that, whether you were getting pilot and command time or dual instruction given or dual instruction received. You'll need to input all of that information in your logbook so that you've got an accurate representation of what you did on that flight. And also, if you're doing simulated instrument flight and you have a safety pilot, the safety pilot's name would also need to be included in your logbook as well. So now we have the question of how do we keep these records? We can have a paper logbook like I have right here, or you could have a digital logbook through ForeFlight or some other third-party logbook system. Or if you're a belts and suspenders kind of person, you could do both. When it comes to running reports, having a digital logbook makes it a lot easier. We talked about Form 8710 that has to be completed for IACRA. Some of the electronic logbooks will generate a Form 8710 record for you so that you can take those numbers directly from your digital logbook and plug them into IACRA whenever it comes time for your check ride. So running reports out of an electronic flight book is a lot easier, but sometimes if you're updating a logbook on the spot, having paper with you can be relatively quick and easy to keep track of and have as a backup. All right, guys, that's all for today on logbooks. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos.